It's about that time, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.
Run it to your friends, come on.
Come
So
on.
this a moment of the show tonight. Mailbag is time. Sinclair is on the mic.
Once again, it's on. You're still troubled in your home. Got your tripping, don't know right from wrong. Send your letters to the show so we can talk you through. Get the answers to your questions because we speak that truth. Sometimes you doubt yourself, lost your health. Faith is on the fence, but you believe that Jesus knows your wealth. Keep it moving, spirit flowing, because we're here to provide someone to lean on when you're falling. Wednesday, 8 and 9, and it's on.
Once again, it's on. You're listening to the only morning show when people at night. That's right. It is the Sinclair Show coming to you live and direct. And people, it is on like the theme song says. Don't miss a moment of the show tonight. Because tonight we're going to be talking about a few things. And let me just say this as a matter of principle for the record, if you will, that some of y'all going to be in your feelings about tonight's show. And it's okay. I'm not even going to trip with y'all. And the reason why I'm not going to trip, because I expect some of y'all to feel some kind of way. Because we're not going to always be on the same page mentally as it relates to what's going on in the world. All right? I'm in here doing a couple things. But first and foremost, let's get the preliminaries out of the way. I want to thank all of you all who continue to send your mailbag questions, comments, whatever is on your mind to SinclairTalk@Outlook.com. We're going to continue to address as many as possible each night that we on the air to reach you, the valued listener. What does that mean exactly? That means without you all, I wouldn't even have to be up here. We've been in this game almost 9 years strong on the show, just doing up, enjoying life, and talking about real life things, real life events. All right? I'm just gonna let y'all know that. People, man, check this out, y'all. Y'all homegirl Nikki Carter up here early tonight. It must have been the title of the show that got her walking around and popping in pretty quick. But that's okay. Good looking out. Glad to see the arch nemesis. And maybe she and I get along tonight so it won't be no fights, if you will. And let me get this out of the way. Y'all, one of our homegirls is a tad bit under the weather. I want to send Annie Moore a shout out. She had to go see them folks and let them take care of whatever she got going on with her. But I did get a chance to lay ears on her and give her some words of encouragement. So we're going to keep an eye on Annie. So everybody send a shout out and get well soon to old Annie Moore. That's right. There you go. That's what I'm talking about right there. Look at that. Nikki Carter talking about she holding it down. Hey, look here. Annie Moore, you see Nikki Carter said, feel better. That's what I'm talking about right there. Love, peace, and soul for everybody. Look here, people. So tonight's show, I really wanted to do it on one thing in particular because I know that's going to take a while. But I just had to jump in the game and talk about the tomfoolery that the president done went out here and did. Now, I'm going to say this to you all, and it's primarily to those who are in support of All right, so let me say this as a matter of principle. What I'm about to talk about is not a political perspective at all. I believe that each individual has a right to support whatever candidate that they feel like their views line up with your view. So let that be the first things first. Y'all, there go Detective Pamela Black. What's going on, girl? Glad to see you on the show, of course. Y'all know Detective Pamela Black been on the show for some time. Nikki Carter talking about the president is exhausted. All right, so again, I'm prefacing tonight's comments because sometimes when you talk about certain people, folks assume that you're going down a political perspective. This is just the opposite. I'm talking about a fundamental thing. Now, so that I don't get bogged down into the weeds, if you will, on the foolishness, I want to talk to you all about, I'm watching the news, and y'all know I try to pay attention to current events and what's going on, because I need to know when something gonna go wrong so I can get to the bear cave and do what I do, if you will. But as I'm looking at the news, I see a video clip of the president, and he's in a news conference. And again, even though I say the president, that's his title, so I'm not going to disrespect that part of it. But as I see him in this news interview, there is a reporter that asked him about the Epstein files, and he's trying to go off to talk to another reporter. Now, some people say one reporter was being disrespectful to others, whatever. But at a certain point, Donald Trump tells the female reporter to be quiet, piggy. Now let me say this. I want all of you all, especially women, to listen to the context of what I'm about to say. But I want everybody who listens to the show to process this from this particular perspective only. Do we have selective outrage? If so, why do we authorize certain individuals to say or do anything, act any kind of way, and we don't hold them to any level of accountability? We seem to say, oh, that's just the way that person acts. That's the way that person gets down. So I want you to understand that the first part of the show is talking about selective outrage. And the reason why that's important is because there are perceivably, he got a nerve to call somebody piggy. I'm just saying, listen, I'm stating facts because that's what we're going to talk about. So here's what actually happened. Friday, November the 14th, aboard Air Force One, a Bloomberg reporter, Catherine Lucy, asked Trump, a question about the Epstein files. Trump, who had already changed his position on releasing those files more than once, distanced himself from Epstein, saying the two had a very bad relationship for many years. All right? That's true. They were best friends, and then they fell out. So that part of what he said was true. Then he pivoted, as often does, pointing to other politicians, including former President Bill Clinton, and suggesting their ties to Epstein were stronger. May have been. I don't know. I don't care about that. All right? Lucy tried to follow up. She began, sir, if there's nothing incriminating in the files, but before she could finish, Trump said the following: quiet, quiet, piggy. Then he moved on to other reporters as if nothing unusual happened. Now, let me say this. And I'm going to say this as a matter of principle, so that you all know where I'm coming from on this particular lens of this subject matter. Everybody who is a supporter of Trump, who continues to push aside, I'm not talking about his political perspective, I'm talking about his fundamental perspective of how he treats women. So if you are a supporter of an individual, then you are saying that your views align with that individual. I've often said to you all that I do not have the ability to differentiate from, if I say I don't stand for something, then it means I don't stand for it regardless of who it is. Y'all all know that I rocks with Jay Dizzle. That's my brother. I rode to the end with her. But if I tell you I despise individuals that men that abuse women physically, if I were to find out that Jay Dizzle beat on a woman, I don't care how much I love and care for my brother, I can't associate and get down with you if I say that in my core, I despise men who abuse women. You don't get to say, I despise people that do the following things, except for my homie that does it, or except for somebody who has the same political perspective as I do. You don't get to do that. Now, why is that important? It's important because, first and foremost, if you are around here saying that you support Donald Trump and his perspective or his views, then you should not be standing up for women's rights, the right for a woman to be treated with respect and dignity. Because if the person on the cool side of your pillow was to call you a pig or a piggy, you would feel some kind of way. If the person at your job was to look at you and tell you to be quiet, piggy, you would be down in HR. You'd be disgusted with the concept and the act itself. So what I'm not able to process is, how is it that every single time that the president does something that is disrespectful and or demeaning to either a woman or to a class of persons different than his, be it financial, race, and or otherwise, how is it that those in the sector of America, the millions that say they follow his belief system, how is it that you are okay with him being that disrespectful? It means that you share the same common value system. And I'm not knocking it if that's what you do. I'm telling you, you no longer have the right to get mad when someone that is not named Donald Trump does the same thing. Because your personal convictions can't be that you are upset by somebody being demeaning to a woman if you're still in support of a president who would call a woman a pig. Now, some of y'all will say, well, he does this and he don't mean nothing by it, or Trump is just an old guy that's in the White House. Listen, if you have been watching or listening to the types of things that Donald Trump has said long before he became a Republican, long before he ever became president, if you are looking at these things and you are following the mindset of, I can make an excuse for what he says or what he does in relation to women and minorities or women and people of a lower class, you fundamentally cannot get mad when somebody else does it. I'm just saying. Now, when asked about it, some people said, oh, well, the reporter was talking over other reporters and just acting belligerent. I can't say she wasn't. I did not witness any of that in the video that I watched. But I will tell you beyond any reasonable doubt that what I did hear Trump say from his own mouth, I consider to be a slap in the face to women. And therefore, if you are in support of Donald Trump, and if you are making up excuses for that level of demeaning, disrespectful, no, he did not say it like a pet name. Because I know some of y'all gonna say, well, he was just joking. Some of y'all got little pet names with each other. I'm okay with that. But unless that reporter is known by everybody as Piggy, then he said that in a demeaning manner. Period. Hey, if somebody call me Bear, it's not going to bother me because people call me Bear. But he called this woman Piggy in her professional setting because he was mad about her continuously driving the point about Epstein files and what his relationship was to Epstein. And so we get to that point of this particular sector of tonight's comments, which is stand on business for whatever you say you believe in. Don't make up excuses for it. If you okay with Donald Trump saying it, then you ought to be, if you're a man, let me say this, and I'm not talking about your race. I'm saying if you're a man and you support Donald Trump and you out with your significant other and some dude that you don't know passes you all at the restaurant table and he calls your wife or your significant other a pig or a monkey or anything like that, you can't get mad. You don't have a problem with Donald Trump calling somebody a pig. Why would you have a problem with somebody calling your old lady that? I'm just asking. You got to keep it a stack with yourself. Have we gone so far down the rabbit's hole that we are accepting of anything that a person will do if it means they are in a position to give us what we want? That's what you got to ask yourself. Have you sold your proverbial soul or goodness or kindness or any type of relevance to being a respectable, moral human being? Have you sold all that with the auspices that a person who has a similar view, who happens to be in a position of power, who can make something that you want to happen, you will give them a pass on anything? Clearly, he believes it. Because remember, the first time he was running for office, when he was heard on camera saying, I could go into the center of Manhattan and kill somebody on the street, and he believed that most of you would vote for him. And while he has not done that yet, I am of the mindset that the reason why he feels that way is because whether he did not pay people who worked for him, slighted them, whether or not he has a history of not paying bills, filing for bankruptcy, whether or not he has a history of alleged assault, which we don't have to say alleged now, because according to the trial of E. Jean Carroll versus Trump, when the jury determined that Donald Trump had assaulted her in some fashion and awarded her the sum of $83 million in total, those things are facts. We don't have to say alleged with that. We don't have to say alleged to the fact that he was found guilty in a New York court system of lying on his financial documents to gain access to loans that he would not have otherwise been entitled to the sum of them saying he needed to pay $400 million. We don't have to say alleged to that because there's already been conviction. And so I'm saying all of these things because I want you guys to process the way you look and feel and think about things that you accept based on who's saying it versus what they're saying. Who's doing it versus what they're doing. Okay? And again, this is, I could care less about political affiliations as much as the acceptance of what you will allow a person to get away with and still stand with them on just because they have the ability to do something you want them to do. All right? So Now we about to move away from that and get down to the heart of the other things I wanted to tell y'all about. So I did a little research, all right? And on this research, the second part of our show tonight is called Mixed Signals, why some people's dating profiles make success for them impossible. Think about that. Mixed signals, while some people's dating profiles make success for them impossible. Now, the space that we're going to talk honestly about relationships, identity, love, and often unspoken truths that shape how we date and choose partners. So I did this little theory, and me and one of my counterparts, I'm not going to say his name because he did not give me permission to divulge his name in the show tonight. And because I could not get him on the phone before the show started, I'm going to respect that. So check this out. What we did was we went on to some sites and we began to look at the profiles that people posted and to read what, I know we must have looked at 100. Looking at what they said in their post and just mulling over it to get some clarity. And I'm going to tell you, I personally was shocked. Well, why was you shocked, Sinclair? I was shocked to find and look and understand the types of things that people put in their profile that make me wonder if there's a central process that keeps people from being successful in relationships when you look at what they would put on a profile. And I have to believe that what you're putting in a profile is a direct correlation to how you feel about something. So I know Nikki Carter probably about to get in her feelings, but we get ready to talk about these. First, there is a profile. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. I ain't gonna show y'all the picture of the people because again, and to show you all that what I'm saying is true, here are profiles that we were able to take screenshots of, and each profile has a different thought process in it. Here's the gist of one that we're gonna talk about. And we're gonna talk about maybe 15 of these, but there may be a part 2 of this show. All right. So let's begin with this. The profile in question says, I am a single mother with 2 kids. One of them is 24, the other is 16. I am self-sufficient and looking for someone to grow with. If you are a man who has kids of your own, please do not swipe my profile. Now think about that. I'm not judging, but ladies, I need y'all to make this make sense. This lady says she is a single mother. She's got 2 kids. One of them is grown, which is 24. The other one is 16. And she's looking for somebody to grow with. She wants a man, but she don't want a man that got kids. How you got kids, but your preference is to be dealing with somebody who doesn't have kids? Come on now, people. Make it make sense. And again, I ain't out here in these streets judging, but it's got to make sense to me for me to be able to stand here and reconcile, y'all, there go our home girl, anymore. Anymore. We didn't send shouts out to you. Nikki Carter said, feel better. That's what I'm talking about. We are most happy to see anymore than hit the streets with us tonight. And so, people, let's get to the heart of this. How is it that you create a profile and your wish list of a person is you have notified them that you have 2 kids? One is an adult, which is 24. The other one is 16. You're looking for someone to grow with, but you don't want a man that has kids. And if he's got kids, don't swipe your name. Just keep it moving. Now tell me where we get that from. And ladies, maybe it's something I'm missing. So if so, any of you that's out here in listening land, y'all can speak up. But if you got a profile that you want a man to accept you with your 2 kids, 124, 116, the profile does not state whether or not the 24 lives still at the house. I don't even know that portion matters. But you want to let somebody know up front you have 2 kids. You're looking for somebody to grow with, but you don't want that person to have kids. Why would such an individual, meaning a single male with no kids, why would that individual be interested in dating somebody who begins their profile out with saying, I'm a single woman with 2 kids looking for a man that don't have any, but I want to grow with you? I'll wait. And ladies, don't get quiet now. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't know what the answer is. It just seemed peculiar to me as we read through some of the profiles. You want somebody to accept you and the fact that you are, as you say, a single mother of 2, 124, 116, but you are very specific that you do not want a man with kids. Y'all seem mighty quiet out there. Let's go to the next one. The next one says, the profile started off, I want to travel the world. Says I am 54 and I am a independent, strong-minded woman looking for someone who has financial stability, has his own, then puts in parentheses, house, car, and no baby mama drama. End of parentheses. I want a man who can take me around the world. All right. Now. Once again, and I am not judging, it's just I want some answers. You want to travel the world, okay? You want somebody that has their stuff together. And mind you, it's nothing wrong with saying, I want to date a man who's got his own house, excuse me, his own car, whatever, okay? But shouldn't you begin your narrative being able to explain or detail, do you have what you saying that you looking for? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Do you have what you say you looking for? And somebody to be or to say or to have something that I don't have. How we get there? I don't know what Nikki Carter talking about yes to. But think about it. You want somebody to have or to be or to do something that you're not. You want somebody, I mean, this one says literally in the caption, I want to travel the world. Later on, it says, I want a man who can take me around the world, but I want him to make sure he got all his stuff together. But nothing indicates that you do. Nothing says that you don't. But if you can detail what you want from a man in your profile, you should be able to detail what you are in that same profile, or we must take or extrapolate from what you put that is true. Here's another one. Treat me like a queen. All right? This one is saying that she wants someone who is mentally and emotionally stable, consistent behavior, accountable of self, be financially stable, have no more than 3 kids. Okay? Nothing independently wrong with her wish list. But on this, on her specific profile, it only indicates that she has children, does not say how many, and that she is a manager at, and I'm not going to call out the name of the fast food restaurant because I'm not going to give them no airplay on the show because where she works at is irrelevant. But you want to be treated like a queen. What does that look like to you? And I mean, it is, again, all right? Here's another one. I'm going to read this one in real time to you. It says, men only with 3 exclamation points. I only have 1 child who is a grown woman. I have 1 grandchild. She is my life. I've been single for some years. So I've had plenty of time to know myself and know what I like and know what I feel that I want and what I am worth. I am not interested in how much money you have or how nice your car is. I do not drive, no particular reason. Why? I'm interested in what other people think. No, I'm not interested in what other people think. I live pretty privately and I don't like my business out and open. Open to eventually find my forever friend. All right, people. What are we going to extrapolate from this? Probably going to extrapolate. I'm in knocking stuff down. All right, so check this out. This person, she's got 1 grown child, a grandchild. She says, I've been single for some years. And fellas, let me tell y'all something. Being single does not mean that the person is problematic. People are sometimes single by choice. All right? I've had plenty of time to know myself and know what I like and know what I feel that I want. I'm not interested. See, I can almost be cool with this one. All right? Let's go to the next one. Here's the next one. All right? It says, get to know me first. That's the caption. Y'all really be tripping on the site. Good entertainment. Do not, I repeat, do not grand rising me, queen me, beloved me, none of that stuff. It's annoying and weird. I feel like every single time I log in, I can just add more and more to the list. Please stop requiring things you do not possess, i.e., conversation, clear and concise communication, honesty, human decency. I mean, it's only right you request things you too can provide. Let me tell y'all something. This person right here is angry as all outdoors. That's real talk. This person is angry. And I ain't even trying to be funny, but everything she said was don't do this, don't do that, and she ain't had nothing positive to say. Which leads me to wonder why you even own the site itself. Okay? Again, I ain't judging, but it is something to say about a person who is that upset that has a profile out here, because we need to know what's going on with the profile. Fundamentally. All right? That's all I'm saying. I ain't really judging. But I want to get to a point where as we're discussing these things, as we are talking about what somebody's saying, what somebody's doing, how somebody is acting, we need to be able to functionally say, if you are, what's going on, Marcus Keith? Glad to see you. If we are fundamentally talking about what women or men, I just so happens that these are probably women, what they are putting in their profiles, stop asking for somebody to be something that you're not. Stop asking them to bring something to the table that you don't. If you say you got kids, but you don't want a man that got kids, that's your prerogative. But why would a man that doesn't have kids want to be with you if you do? If your philosophy is, I want somebody who don't have kids, but I want them to accept me and mine. Keep in mind, I'm still saying it's your right to feel that way. I'm just asking you, ladies, why would somebody, here's one, she says, again, here it is. I don't want y'all to think I'm making this up. I am very intelligent, real genuine woman. I work hard and I'm passionate about what I do. I got big dreams and I'm looking for a real man to grow and build with. Single mom, 2 grown sons. Please have a relationship with the Lord. If you're looking to play games, hook up, or any other non-productive things, I'm not her. I have a silly, goofy side and love to laugh. I love music and comedy. The rest you will have to seek and find out. All right? That's not really a bad one. All right? Really not. I think she's very clear and concise about what she's looking for. I think she talked about her respect for her spirituality. I think she's put out, hey, if all you want to do is hook up, whatever, I'm not the person. She even says she got a silly, goofy side and love to laugh. All right? Let's go to the next one. Here it is. Here's another one. Now, again, I want y'all out here thinking I'm out here. Hold on. What is Nikki talking about? What about the male profiles? Well, Nikki, unfortunately, I may not have a host of them, but I welcome for part 2 if you ladies want to go out there and look up some. But again, here's another one. It says, I am a mother of 1 beautiful daughter and have 2 amazing grandkids. I work in the medical field, love my family and God, big sports fan, like to shop and travel. I pay attention to a beautiful smile and teeth. So if you haven't taken care of your teeth or wear grills daily, that's a no for me. If this is how she specifically said it now, I ain't making this up. If you're not going to communicate on a regular basis, please don't bother. I have no time to waste. She a medical receptionist according to the profile. Again, nothing inherently wrong with this. Yes, you got a right to not want somebody with gold teeth. But I ponder, what do people mean when they say, if you're not going to communicate on a regular basis? What does that mean? All right. Here's another one. And Nikki Carter, stop being in your feelings. It says, just a single female looking for my king. Please don't come to me talking about what you want to do or that I am attractive. She got a little emoji. I don't really know what that emoji means. It's deeper than that, babes. I'm not here to play with nobody's son, husband, or boyfriend. It's 2025, so please keep the drama away. Esther Shepherd, what's going on? Glad to see you. It says 2025, please keep the drama away. Also, if you're doing drugs, I don't want to deal or be around it, so please keep it real with us on this app. I need to know where your head at mentally and physically. Now, first and foremost, she said, I'm not here to play with nobody's son, husband, or boyfriend. I'm assuming that what she's trying to say is that she don't want nobody that's acting like a child, somebody that's married, or somebody that's with somebody. I'm hoping that if you say I ain't here to be with nobody's son, everybody is somebody's son. Talking about, I need to know where your head at mentally and physically. So what she's saying is, I need to know if you crazy. All right? Now, let me say this. Here's one, and I'm not 100% certain, so y'all might have to help me, because some of this stuff, I may be a little slow, because I'm really not out there in the in the proverbial game like that. So I need y'all to tell me what some of these acronyms mean. Big single, don't, HMU, which I don't know what. Can anybody tell me what when y'all out here speaking in social media terminology, what does HMU stand for? Because I don't know. Said that's not cute at all. I'm cool as heck, very laid back. Don't disrespect me because mine is 10 times worse. If you locked up, bye. Polly, bye. I'm cool on that. I'm not an ATM and neither are you. I'm just looking for friends at the moment. Let's have a drink, eat good, 420 friendly. I'm very blunt and honest. I'm big on consistency. If you can't be consistent, there's no need to DM me. Now, has anybody identified what does HMU stand for? Because I don't know. She said, if you locked up, bye. Do y'all mean to tell me that there's people that's locked up that's out there on profiles reaching out to people? I'm just trying to get a clear picture of exactly what in the world y'all talking about out here. Nikki Carter talking about, where'd you find these profiles? What difference do it make? You scared I'm gonna pull up on your profile out there? All right, here go one. It says, this again. This ain't me. I'm just reading y'all what y'all put in these profiles so we can talk about it. This person said, I'm 5'8", 200 pounds, North Carolina, born and bred. So if petite is your thing, this ain't it. I prefer 6'2" and up. But it's not a must. I believe in the Almighty God. I love to laugh, cook, and fish. Oh, this person got a little winner. She said she liked to fish. Oh, y'all, look here. Look at our resident dating app person. Nikki Carter said HMU means hit me up. All right, see, we learned something new today. This person said, I love to laugh, cook, and fish. Cook and fish? Or was she saying she loved to cook fish? I think she's saying she loved to cook and she loved to fish. Any woman that can fish, that's a good lady. Good lady. All right? It's drama-free and peace over here. I want my next relationship to be my last. Wonder how old she is if she wanted to be her last. All right? She said, have your own everything because I do. I don't really like to drive, so I'm not a fan of long distance. If you're not willing to drive, might want to hit the X. If we mesh, I'm going to invite you to Messenger to chat. I'm 420 friendly. All right. Hold on. This say you shouldn't be on a Christian friend finder. I don't know what you can be on whatever you want to be on. Satan. So let's go back to this one. Again, let me make sure before the pitchforks come out that y'all understand I'm not saying I have a problem with you being as specific as you want to be. I do believe that profiles should at some point require you to say in just as much detail what you are. But this is a curious one. She said she 5'8", 200 pounds. She prefers 6'2" and up. She says, I want you to have your own everything because I do. I don't like to drive, so I ain't a fan of long distance. And if you ain't willing to drive to me, hit the X button. All right? Think about that. Now, ladies, I'm going to say this as a matter of principle. I'm going to help all y'all out tonight so that y'all can understand the mind of men. And I'm talking about regular men. I ain't talking about nobody that's out there, no serial killers and all that. I want y'all to understand the mindset of a regular dude. First of all, most men have a particular preference. That particular preference is if he replies to your site, your page, whatever it is, he's already looked at your picture, and so he already understands if you're his physical type. Okay? Now, some of you all are shrinking your personal pools of candidates because you're all over the place in terms of your wants and goals. You 5'8", 200 pounds, nothing wrong with that. But you want somebody 6'2", which the pool of candidates automatically drops the more specific you are about what you're looking for. And that doesn't matter if it's male or female. Anybody who is out here in search of a relationship, understand the more specific you are about things that you like or dislike, it begins to reshape the pool of candidates that you have access to. So if you're looking for somebody 6'2" or taller, that means it erases anybody 6'1" and under. I'm just saying. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but understand, if you can't never find nobody, the reason why you can't find anybody is because when you look at the specifics of what you're asking for, it makes some go away. You want them 6'2" and up. You want him to have a relationship with God. Now that's two things. Now you got to find somebody 6'2" and somebody that got a relationship with God. You said, have your own everything. So now you're looking for somebody 6'2" and above, got a relationship with God, got his own everything, and you don't like to drive, so you are looking for somebody who must be willing to drive to you. Now, I'm not judging. So before any of you get mad and start talking about, you know what, I can't stand Sinclair and he's this or that, I'm not judging on what you are looking for. I want you to process the reason why it may be difficult for some of you to find a good man is because you got all these, the specificity of what you're asking for. 6'2" and above, everybody that is 6'1" and below don't qualify. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do y'all a favor. Watch this. Y'all give me a second. I want to tell y'all. I want you to look at this right here. I just Googled this, right? Let me see if I can get that to pull up for y'all. I had to pull it back some. You may not be able to read it. She said she's looking for somebody that must be 6'2" and above. It says the average height for men in the United States is 5 feet 9 inches, while the global average is slightly shorter at about 5 feet 7.5 inches. Think about that. The average by race, the average Hispanic, 5 foot 10 inches. Non-black, 5 feet 9 inches. No, non-Hispanic and white is 5 feet 10 inches. Non-Hispanic black, 5 feet 9 inches. Non-Hispanic Asian, 5 foot 7 inches. Hispanic, 5 foot 7 inches. All right? So, genetically speaking, I want you to understand, this ain't me. Genetically speaking, 60 to 80% of men in America are 5'10" and below. So if you are looking for somebody who is 6'2" and above, it means that you are only looking for the top 20% of men in America, because 80% of American men, regardless of their race, are 5'10" and below. And you wonder why you can't find nobody with the way your profile is structured. You're looking for 6'2" when 80% of the men in America, regardless of race, is 5'10" and below. You want somebody that's got a relationship with God, that's a beautiful attribute. But if I go look up right now how many men in America are spiritually inclined, it's going to put a percentage on it. So now you got to find somebody of that percentage. You got to find all the 6'2" and above individuals that got a relationship with Christ. See how that pool shrinks? Then you got to say that your person in the top 20% of all men got to have 6'2" and above, got to have a relationship with Christ, and got to have your own everything. So now you have shrunk your pool to 6'2" and above, spiritual relationship, and got to have your own everything. You may be looking at only 7% of the men in America. Then it says, I don't like to drive. So if you're not willing to drive to me, so now think about it. You started off only having the top 20% or 20% of men in America who met your height requirement. Then you reduce that pool to how many people that are 6'2" and above have a relationship with Christ. That shrunk your pool of candidates. Then you were looking for that percentage of people who are 6'2", got a relationship with Christ, and got in your words, own everything. That shrunk that pool down. Now you're looking for somebody 6'2" and above, relationship with Christ, got your own everything, and because you don't want to drive, you need somebody that's willing to drive to you. Now, let me say this. I went through this exercise because I wanted you all to think about something. I don't care how beautiful you are, there is somebody who thinks that the person standing next to you is attractive. I don't care how beautiful you are, your attractiveness can never be enough. So we go down your proverbial list. You want somebody that has their stuff together. While you may not have, she didn't define it well, she was clear enough to say you got your own everything. Somebody who can be a provider for you. Every time you add something else that is an above the anomaly, they got this little saying that women want somebody that's makes 6 figures, 6 feet tall or taller. I ain't gonna even say the other little pieces, but it's a bunch of 6s in there. And the fact of the matter is, if you wonder why you are unsuccessful, start going out here looking up statistically how many people meet the individual characteristics that you have. And then start asking yourself, if you found somebody that had all of those characteristics, why would they want you? And I'm not judging, but these are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Why would somebody, if you found the needle in a haystack of a man, based on your specificity of needs, if he's all that, why does somebody that's all of those things want to be with you unless you are equal in terms of whatever you say you need? Well, the lady that says, look, I got 2 kids, but I want to date a man that don't have no kids. Why would somebody who doesn't have kids want to be with somebody that does, especially if your philosophy is, I don't want to date nobody with kids? There is something about being in a relationship with people that kids that you do not like. So why would somebody not feel the same way toward you? I'll wait. I know this is a tough topic, and again, I want you to know I'm not picking on anybody, just the opposite. I wanted to help you ladies understand why you may not be being successful because you start off with a level of criteria that, one, shrinks your pool of candidates each time you add something from it or add something to it. And quite honestly, if you do happen to meet that individual, what is it about you that would attract somebody that got themselves together, don't need nobody for nothing? Why would they want to be with you if you have a series of things that are somewhat potentially flawed? Ask yourself that question. Look, people, I got to get up off this show so I can get me some rest. I just want y'all to think about this. We're going to revisit this topic. And yes, Nikki Carter, next week we can talk about the dudes or whatever. Want y'all to have a good holiday. But keep this on your mind. Stop asking people to be something that you ain't.
It's about that time, baby, baby. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
The Sinclair Show is on.
It is on.